Death visited a woman. It was her turn to die. Death visited her and said, Madam, your turn don't reach. And the woman was like, I'm not ready to die. Your death said, well, it's your turn. Then the woman immediately came up and said, okay, Death, you've been working since. I'm sure you're tired. Why don't you relax? Let me cook for you. After eating, then you can do your assignment. And Death said, wow, that's a wonderful thing. And Death relaxed. And she cooked the most wonderful meal. Death ate. She gave Death something to drink. Inside the drink, she put sleeping portion. Death drank and slept. So the woman went and put the list and saw that her name was the first, the next one. So she quickly changed it, cleaned her name and put it at the bottom. So when Death woke up, she said, nah, I've not enjoyed sleep like this before. Thank you. Say, Madam, for being so good to me, I'm going to do you a favor. Ordinarily, I'm supposed to start killing from top. But because of what you have done for me, I will start from... I use the story to teach about preparation for death. Listen, what is inevitable? Anything that is inevitable in life, you can't avoid it. You can only prepare for it. And without understanding, people are trying to avoid the inevitable things they should be preparing for. Nobody's ready to die. I'm not ready to die. But that's not the question. The question is, are you prepared? When you are prepared, you are ready. But you can't be ready by being ready. No, there is never a point in time you will be ready. Even a woman of 90 years old now, is she ready to die? Even many people who are sick, that that, what is this person? They are still not, nobody is ready, and there is no point in life you'll be ready to die. Readiness means that disposition. I've told you, the only person I've seen with that kind of thing is St. Paul, who was nostalgic for death. Nobody is ready to die. But death is inevitable. So it is not about being ready, it's about being prepared. Let me ask your neighbor, are you prepared? You have to prepare. Because it can come anytime. And when it comes, it will not ask whether you are ready. You can't avoid, no matter what you do. If you change your name from top, he may start from the bottom. And when Jesus says in John 14, he says, my Father's house, there are many mansions there. I say, I go to prepare a place for you. When I am done preparing a place for you, what will I do? I will come and pick you. He didn't say, I will come and carry you when you are ready. No, he said, when I'm done preparing a place for you, I will now come and pick you, so that where I am, you will be. Second reading, let your mind be where Christ is. So these things are about projected death and all of that. I don't know who is projecting death to. First Samuel says it is God who has the power to deal both death and life. If you don't understand it, you will be trying to chase away something you can't chase away instead of preparing for it. Everything in life that are inevitable, the only thing you can do is to prepare. Understand it. Let me tell somebody, understand. It's about understand. It will come when it will come. And God can permit it. When it happens, it does not even matter who caused or whatever. Of course, in legal terms, it is the duty of the country to make sure that those who kill others are taken care of. But as Christians, you must believe what God does not permit will not happen. Even if the person was poisoned and the person died, it means that God did what? Permitted it. Because there are people who have taken poison and they still did not. John understood why, because he was paying attention. Now you know why, among all the disciples of Jesus, the only one who followed with his mother and the other women was who? Not John. I have John. He was the only one at the foot of the cross. Others ran away. Because he seemed, and he was watching with equanimity. In other words, he was calmly following, knowing that this man had said, after 3 days, I will. So he felt that there was just watch as things unfold. See Peter now with all his gra-gra. He put sword. He wanted to fight for Jesus. What did he do? He caught, I have told you before, just imagine. Somebody, they came to arrest his Oga. And he was to fight. of every place in the person's body he could see. He didn't say anywhere except what? Small e and I in cut. I know when you injure your opponent during war, what will happen? The person will rush at you now. He couldn't kill. Still telling Christians the same thing. If you don't understand that the battle is the Lord, you will just be wasting your time, doing gragra that has no way. The battle belongs to the Lord. Jesus said, come on, put it. I'm sure Jesus was disappointed. Jesus would have looked at him and said, Peter, but the God. So if I depended on you now for defense, Minister of Defense, this is what you would have done. Just because, I bet put your sword in its scab. I say, if I wanted, I would have asked my Father, and he will send legions of angels. The battle is the Lord's. Calm down. Understand. To watch full videos and get notifications for new ones, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. God bless you.
Sign up with the largest community of Catholics online. Make new friends, chat, post pictures and videos, make and receive audios and video calls, interact with lots of priests and religions. Download the app from Google Play Store.